Modus ponens. Humans can do terrible things. I'm a human. I can do terrible things. Humans can do beautiful things. I'm no human. Bivalent logic. The bivalent, two-valued logic is marked by an unambiguous attribution of true and false, often represented by one and naught. Statements are considered, for example in the propositional logic. The principle of the bivalence is expressed here. Beery trilemma. The Beery trilemma is very well suited to find your place in the controversy of the mind-body problem. First, mental phenomena are non-physical phenomena. Second, mental phenomena are causally effective in the range of physical phenomena. Third, the range of physical phenomena is causally closed. For me, the first sentence is incorrect. In particular, I follow Hilary Putnam. Ternary logic. There are several systems. They have instead of two truth values, one and naught, another. This is colloquially designated as unknown or indeterminate, and often represented by one half. Epicurus' trilemma. Epicurus wanted to challenge the idea of an omnipotent and all-bountiful God there is. Later in Christianity, this idea leads to the question of theodicy. First, if God is willing but not able to prevent evil, he is not omnipotent. Second, if God is able but not willing to prevent evil, he is not all-bountiful. Third, if God is willing and able to prevent evil, then why does evil exist? For me, the trilemma does not exist. Multivalued logic. It introduces more truth values. The interpretation, however, is very difficult and not uniform. They are often referred to as pseudo-truth values. In this era, the fuzzy logic falls. Münchhausen trilemma. For me, the most important of the three trilemmata. Any attempt of an ultimate justification leads to a circular argument, or abandonment of the process, or an infinite regress. A circular argument is absurd. An abandonment, the fleeing into a dogmatism, cannot be tolerated. It's regarded to bear the infinite regress, in the sense that all knowledge in science raises new questions who wanted to be answered. In that sense, also science aims for an ultimate justification, but will this never achieve. What maybe can be achieved is the limit of human perception, then when the to-examine object in its complexity exceeds the possibilities of the human mind. Whether this will happen one day remains to be seen. So far, it seems to me, still a lot is possible. Fuzzy logic. Although fuzzy logic is to its nature a multivalued logic, it differs clearly from other systems of multivalued logic, as that unambiguous truth values in an entire range of 0 to 1 can be assigned. For example, 0.1, 0.2, 0.37, and so on. It was never understandable to me why this has resulted not more reverberation, thus in philosophy. It appears to me to be a fundamental tool. Suppose that we ask ourselves whether something is art or not. In the field of two-valued logic, there is only the possibility of naught or one, no art or art. But even in the three-valued logic, the subject is not satisfying, as indeterminate is not really carrying on. With multivalued logic, we have the aforementioned problems. What now is fuzzy logic able to contribute to our question? It allows to match a distinct truth value to every object. A painting by Max Ernst I would allocate 1 without hesitation. A promotional brochure without hesitation not. What is, for example, with the music of Taylor Swift? I have many problems with 1. I just see a big gap between Ernst and Swift, but to degrade her music to an advertising brochure seems not quite appropriate. Since I can use any truth value, I'm able to, for example, to assign her music the value of 0.25 as a very small value or 0.75 as a fairly high value. Also, the value can become at any time subject to a correction in both directions, thus after new information, an album and such like. It probably will not surprise that I assign my angels without hesitation 1. And I would even go so far precisely because it does not make sense, at least 2 of them, to assign the truth value greater than 1. Predicate logic. To prove the non-existence of something is impossible. You cannot show that for all x is that they have the property of A. But you can prove that for at least one, but not all, x takes effect that it does not have the property of A. Universal quantifications are basically not provable. Existential quantifications, however, are provable. Universal quantifications are basically deniable. Existential quantifications, however, are not deniable. Is now, for example, a musician able to show that her discovery takes place through a video on the internet, thereby that millions of users watched the video? Can she show that it was not controlled by a management, a record company, through social media or such like? A moment of reflection shows that this is impossible in principle. She would have to show that something is true for everything, and this is simply impossible anyway. Always doubts could be announced, thus operate among others conspiracy theories. But if it's not possible to prove one's own innocence, what no court demands anymore in a democracy, is it then useful to comment on such accusations, even to try to refute them? Of course not. If someone claims that something is, then he has an obligation to prove it. And he is also able to, since it's possible to show that something is. The prosecutor has the burden of proof. The one who brings the charge of, not the defense, those has the right to remain silent. Aren't such principles of law, who find their justification in logic, valid for artists? Suppose that someone can show that in the above case the discovery was controlled by whomever. What then? What would be if this had not happened? I would not know you and your music. What a terrible thought. Light speed. C is equal to 299,792,458 meters per second. Thank you for listening.